Hello everyone and welcome to Transcendent Philosophy. This is Seth, and today I have a special treat for you. I want to share a video of Jordan Peterson. I accidentally came across Jordan talking about ideologies, and it seemed very relevant to the purposes of Transcendent Philosophy. If you don't know, Transcendent Philosophy is all about helping individuals overcome their biases, cognitive dissonance, that type of stuff, helping groups transcend ideology and rigidity of a group to one idea framework and kind of that polarization involved, obviously in politics, and also nations transcending rivalry is the next layer up, and those are kind of, the way I see it, those are the steps that need to happen if world peace is ever going to be an option. So I think Jordan Peterson has something to offer here, so perhaps we can take a listen and see what's up.
Well, okay, so the same thing, the question emerges. Well, who are you? Well, you could say, you're this plan. That's how people usually identify. Maybe they have no plan at all and they're just in chaos, right? That's like being in the belly of the beast. They're nihilistic in chaos. They have no plan. They're just chaos itself. And that's a very dreadful situation for people to be in. Or maybe they conjure together a plan. That's their identity. It's kind of fragile and they're holding on to that with everything they've got that they're floating in the ocean, clinging to. And so they're identifying really hard with that plan. That's what happens when you're an ideologue, is that you're identifying really hard with that plan. The problem is something comes up to confront it. Well, how do you act? Well, you can't let go of the plan because you drown. Then you cling to it rigidly. Well, that's no good because then you can't learn anything. And then if that's you, you're a totalitarian, you're not going to learn anything. You're going to end up in something that's close enough to hell so that you won't know the difference, and you might drag everyone along with you. And that's happened plenty of times, right? It's the whole story of the 20th century. It happened over and over and over. And it happens in people's states. It happens in their business organizations. It happens in their cities. It happens in their provinces. It happens in their states. And it happens in their psyches, all at the same time. You can't blame the manifestation of that sort of thing on any of those one levels. It happens when a society goes down that way. It goes down everywhere at the same time. It's not the totalitarians at the top and all the happy people striving to be free at the bottom. It's not that at all.
So this really resonates with me. As I said, there's multiple layers of analysis that we're trying to attack when we're thinking about making the world a better place. The world is extremely complex, and it's broken up into multiple fragments where there's individuals, groups, nations, and trying to have a healthy system, we need each layer of the system to be healthy. And since one layer is built of the layer beneath it, that fundamental layer needs to be healthy so that the more organized, higher order layer can be healthy. And so I am very in agreement with him on this point.
It's totalitarianism at every single level of the hierarchy, including the psychological. And so you don't want to be the thing, you don't want to be in chaos, that's for sure, but you don't want to be the thing that clings so desperately to the raft that you can't let go when someone comes to rescue you, right? You don't want to be that. So then you think, well, exactly what are you? You're not the chaos, you're not the plan. Maybe you're the thing that confronts the obstacle. And I would say that's the categorical lesson of psychology insofar as it has to do with personal transformation. Because that's what you always teach people in psychotherapy. I don't care what sort of psychotherapist you are. You're always teaching them the same thing. You're the thing that you're not the plan. You're the thing that can confront the obstacle to the plan. And then when you know even further that the obstacle is not only an obstacle but opportunity itself, well, then your whole view of the world can change, because you might think, well, I've got this plan, something came up to object to it. It's like, it's possible that the thing that's objecting has something to teach you that will take you to the place where you develop an even better plan.
So, after listening to Jordan Peterson, do you think that you identify with the chaos within your mind? Or is your identity tied to your ideology, i.e. the plan? Or are you the thing that confronts the obstacle? That which learns and transforms and overcomes, the Jungian transcendent function, the thing within your mind that is forming the synthesis between opposing views. Archetypally, one might identify with their inner dragon, the dragon of chaos, or their inner tyrant, the ideologue, or their inner hero, that which is trying to transcend. The more we identify with the dragon or the tyrant, I think the greater our political polarization will be. Only by identifying as the hero can we have the courage to have the hard conversations with those who disagree with us. Only by identifying as the hero can we find common ground with others and begin the path towards mutual understanding. Only by identifying as the hero can we overcome our own weaknesses and incorrect conclusions, because we know that becoming better and more truthful is more important than defending our ego and trying to be right, even when we're not. Only with the courage and integrity of the hero can we transcend towards unity. Or at least that's how it seems to me. So based on this analysis, it would seem to me that the dragon is a chaotic mentality that doesn't really have a framework, doesn't really have an ideology. It's not fully formed or developed. And so the dragon, if you're identifying with that level of chaos, you can be swayed by the whims of those around you who will guide you into different ideologies and pathways, etc. If you're identifying as the tyrant, then you're going to be rigid and unable to change, and it turns into a us versus them dichotomy very quickly. Jordan Peterson mentioned very often that that layer, that identity is unable to learn. In order to learn, you have to be able to listen in good faith to the other side. And if you've already built this righteous mind, this dichotomy of we are the righteous ones, they are the evil ones, you're not listening. You've already given up listening when you've entered that mentality. And if you're not listening, you're not learning, and you're not incorporating, and you're not transcending. So that's why that mentality is a problem for polarization. But when it finally gets to the identity of that which faces the obstacle, right? That's like the hero facing the villain, whatever. That mentality, theoretically, it can be abused in other ways too, but if you're treating the hero mentality as pursuing the highest ideal, which is wisdom, which I view as truth and goodness, you're not going to allow yourself to be blocked from learning. Because if truth and goodness is on the other side, you need to be open to that if you want to have truth and goodness. And only a certain amount of narcissistic, audacious, overconfidence in one's already held beliefs can lead you to block out other paths. When you learn to realize that you're not omniscient, your group is not omniscient, your nation is not omniscient, you're subject to all the same errors and epistemological pitfalls. Once you realize that you're vulnerable to being very confused about the world, that's going to open you up to look further, look into the eyes of the adversary and try to see, does he have something that I lack? Does he have truth or goodness that I lack? And if he does, I need that, because truth and goodness, that is the goal. Fighting, dominating, making my position and group look better than your position and group, if you truly have that transcendent mindset, that's not the goal. Everyone getting on the same page, on the path to truth and goodness, that's the goal. And so I hope that we can think about this and try to implement it in our lives, because if every individual tries to be the hero, tries to connect with those who disagree, tries to learn, reality is super complex, but if everyone is trying to deal with that complexity in a heroic way, I think we can make progress. So